Okay, we're going to start going to our calls now, and we're going to go to the first call from Illinois, and we're going to go to Wendy. Hi, Wendy. How are you today?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How may we help you?
I recently discovered that my husband's been having a 10-year affair,
Mm-hmm.
and I confronted him with it, and he admitted to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll say my questions first, I guess. I'm just wondering, how much more difficult that makes everything, and will I ever really be able to trust him? Because currently he says that he loves me.
Mm-hmm.
He never wanted to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
He loves her. She's his best friend. He doesn't want to hurt her. He can't imagine giving either of us up.
Mm-hmm.
He actually did ask me if I would consider staying married and him continuing to have the affair, and he'd be the best husband I could imagine.
And how did you reply to that?
I said I wouldn't be able to do that.
Good for you.
And I said at one point, though, it was after something I read or heard online from you, because at one point, I've known for about 5 weeks now, and within the first couple of weeks, I was telling him, can you at least give her up while we work on our marriage? How can we work on our marriage if she's still in the picture? And that wasn't really going anywhere. And then something you said was like, you can't, that's kind of a demand, like they have to make the decision. So that's in a nutshell, you know what you said. And
well, I'm not sure what you heard that I said, but you certainly have a right to make a demand. If you're in a situation where he's involved with another woman, you have the right to say, we're not going to continue if you don't stop that. And that's not irresponsible, nor is it ultimately selfish. And sometimes you do those things. You make a decision like that. So if I said something that made it sound like that you couldn't or shouldn't make such a demand as that, then I did not communicate well.
Well, I didn't get the feeling that you meant that ever, just maybe in the beginning. So anyway, I took a step back from that because I could see that it's very emotional for him.
Sure.
So I said at one point that I couldn't make him give up his best friend. He was going to have to decide to do that. I can't, he's got to make that choice. And because I was also wrestling with the fact that if I make that demand and he does it, is he going to resent me the rest of his life? And I don't want to live like that either.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I don't know how long I can continue like this in this limbo, but
okay.
For now, so anyway, he inadvertently thought that I meant that he could have her forever. And when I cleared that up, he was an emotional wreck, basically.
Right.
And said that he would rather die than have to. I mean, he's not suicidal, but he's just.
Understand this. The thing you have going on here, first of all, is it's pretty rare. A 10-year-long affair is exceptional. If you look at all the research out there, it's extremely rare. I mean, exceptionally rare for one to go past 48 months. And so when you go 10 years, it's pretty remarkable in and of itself. And basically what's been happening is your husband's been living in a type of valley where you're on one side and she's on the other side. And because you didn't even know about her, apparently he's been very good at covering his tracks. The fact that you didn't even know about her meant that he didn't have to make a decision at all. He could do what he wanted when it came to the marriage, do what he wanted when it came to her, and actually was living a dual life. And that's a kind of valley, if you will. But once you discover the person's living in the valley, once you discover, wait a minute, there's somebody else out there besides me, then you do have a right to make a demand for a decision. We have on occasion said to people, well, if you want to let them live in the valley for a while, and I don't have time to go into all the explanations of that right now, sometimes there is great value in doing that if, and here's the big if now, Wendy, if you're making progress toward putting things back together with you, then sometimes tolerating the valley for a little while can be of value. But I'm hearing pretty clearly from you that you're not going to be able to tolerate very long him being in this valley. I mean, first of all, if you've only known for 5 weeks, it's almost like you're still in shock. And he is not being really reasonable when he says, oh, wait a minute, why can't you just be happy with this and I'll just have two? Basically what he's saying is, I'll have 2 wives. I have a harem. Here's you and here's she. And you should be happy with that. And if you are, that in our culture, our time, I mean, if you were living back way over in Old Testament times, like in the Bible, maybe, but not now. Not now. That's not the way it's going to work. And you have every right in the world to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Now, when you say, I'm not going to make him make the decision because I don't want him to resent me, I understand that. And there's great value in that. But at some point, he's going to have to. And if he's saying, I don't want anybody to be hurt, that's an impossibility. Because now that you know somebody's going to get hurt, it's either going to be her or you or both of you, and definitely he's going to be hurt no matter what happens here. And so in this situation, it's an impossibility to say, I don't want anybody to get hurt. I can understand him wanting it to be that way, but that is not reality. That is la la land. And what he has to decide is, who's going to be hurt? Is it going to be you or is it going to be her? And that's the decision he has to make. And it's okay for you to make clear, okay, you only have so long before you're going to make this decision. When you're ready to make that decision on your own part, it's only this long before you make that decision. And if not, then I'll make the decision for you, because I am not going to live like that. I'm not going to be one of the 2 women in your life. So is he emotional about it? Sure he is, because he's gotten away with it for 10 years. He's been in a 10-year situation where he's been able to do both. And now that he's confronted with it and has to make a decision, sure, that's painful. Absolutely. But in that process, my friend, you've got to also think about your own welfare. You know, how you can live with peace in your heart, where you can have a life that's fulfilling. And I get a very strong impression, Kimberly, to you as well, I get the very strong impression that Wendy's not going to be having that kind of peace as long as this thing continues.
No, it would be nearly impossible for that to happen. And, you know, she said that she just found out about it recently. I'm sure her world is being rocked.
Oh, yeah, it has to be.
Absolutely. But Wendy, our hearts are with you, our prayers are with you, and we're with you. We are.
And if you want, you can, and I'm not trying to make a commercial here, Wendy, but you might want to call and talk to one of our coaches. You can set up an appointment. There's a fee for it, of course. But if you want to call and set up one of our coaches who can listen to you carefully and help you think this through. And some of our coaches are people who've been through similar situations with yours. Now, yours is so rare. We're not going to have any coach that where it's been 10 years before the other person got caught, or even 10 years that the affair took place. But some of our coaches, we have both males and females, and some of our female coaches have been through a situation where they discovered their husband was having an affair. And you might want to call and ask if you can coach with one of them, because they can take a lot of time we don't have here that can help you think these things through and make your decisions.